the native law and custom is very important. And where we ended, Olamide, we were talking about handing over the bride.
Yes,
to the family of the
I just
groom.
remembered something that I was going to state that
Mm-hmm.
under our jurisdiction in jurisprudence in
Mhm.
Nigeria,
Mm-hmm.
in some other jurisdictions, you hear common law wives. That is the length of time partners have stayed together, and they start acquiring rights of couples.
That's for civil. That's for a civil
No,
partnership.
civil partnership is different.
Ah.
This one is common law wife. You can probably, when you stayed about 2-3 years together, you've had children. The law automatically assumes that
You've been
you are a
married.
couple and you have rights that accrue to couples.
Ah.
But in Nigeria, no matter the length of time that you stay together, it's either you are married or you are not.
Oh, you're not.
Married.
The law is black
There's
and white.
No
gray areas.
So even if you park into a man's house and you have 3 children and all his family members know you, they refer to you as their wife and all of that.
Yeah, concubine.
You are a concubine if the bride price was never paid. I have a case
So
like
we
that.
need to insist that
Mhm.
maybe if you're saying I should come and do wajoko, just pay something on my head.
Just to ensure that the bride price
Yes.
and witnesses are there. The importance of witnesses.
And the
very,
handing over
very
is also
important.
done.
Yes, and the concurrence of both family members.
Very
It's not
important.
done in isolation.
Lagos, can you hear us? Before you now start calling Olamide to stress her. Make sure that they pay something on your head. Not small thing, everything.
Children don't equate bride price, they don't equate marriage. Even if you have 10, it still will not equate.
It doesn't
in
mean
marriage.
that you're married.
Yeah.
Very important.
Okay, yeah. So handing over is very important. It completes the process.
Mm-hmm.
There must be a physical handing
over.
And the last is, which I think is dwindling, right? People barely do it anymore. That is when the bride is led to her husband's
House.
in these days that they will do after party.
They will still go.
Yes, but her friends, maidens in the family, then the older women they're supposed to take her.
They do.
To her husband. I said,
when my auntie got married to my uncle, they brought her, they shipped her straight to the house.
yes, then you do wash her feet and all of that.
Well, I don't think that's part of my culture. We don't wash
in
the
our
feet.
culture, they're supposed to wash with water and gin and all the paraphernalia.
I
and
think
all
we
that.
do
I think some
something
families
else.
still do it, but
I don't know what we do. I'm not gonna say what I don't know, but I know that
But
they
it's
receive.
part of the process.
Yeah.
The bride is supposed to be led to her husband's house.
It's very important. I
Yes.
want to be led to my husband's house.
Yes.
That'll be
So
fun.
once those essentials are in that marriage, then it becomes valid and legal. And on the basis of that, the man cannot go on to contract another marriage under the statute.
Without dissolving this one.
Yes.
Ah.
But if he goes on to contract another marriage under the native law and custom, then that's absolutely fine. Because one of the character of native law and custom is there's a possibility of polygamy. It's accepted under it. A woman cannot, but of course a man can take more than one wife, and there's no limit to the number of wives he takes.
Very interesting. I like that you put that caveat, because we are in a society that's very peculiar, and we have, interesting things that happen.
So when the issue of divorce and all of that, dissolution of the marriage. Now, if a woman or a man packs out of the home under this native land custom and says, you know what, I'm not getting married to you anymore.
Oh, you're
and
separated.
leaves for 35 years, he's still married to her. Yes. There's a formal dissolution of marriage under the native land custom.
So
And
you can't
there are
just wake
two
up and
ways.
say you want to dissolve. We've not been
No,
together.
you're
I don't
just
want.
separated.
Oh.
And it doesn't matter even if you're separated for 10 years, for 30 years, it does not equate a dissolution under native
Okay,
law
let me hold your thought.
There is one barrister also in this case. Law barrister also means he was on part of that you get married on that native marriage. That you can't marry to another person on that. But now you are saying that the only thing you can't do is that you can't get married to another person on that registry marriage, but the person can get married on that marriage. But I think they is saying that both native or ethnic that is not possible get married. I want to tell you.
Okay.
Hold on, Lekki. I think you need. We need, for clarity reasons. Olamide needs to
You
explain.
know what? I would believe that Barrister Olumide, this is what he would have said. If you
Hello?
contract a marriage,
Just listen.
So this is
Okay.
what I think he would have said. If you contract a marriage under the native law and custom, right? You cannot marry another person under the statute if that first marriage is still subsisting. Now, if you also contract a statutory marriage first, right? You cannot marry somebody else again under the native law and custom. So you cannot marry under the statutory law again to somebody else, and you cannot do the native law and custom to somebody else again. Once you contract the statutory marriage, you cannot marry anybody else, whether under native law and custom or under the statute.
Until you break the other one.
Yes.
Legally.
Yes. So probably what he said was, people are under the mistaken information that if you marry under the native law and custom first, you can now marry under the statute to somebody else, then the person will now assume the status of the legal wife. No. As a matter of fact, that marriage is null and void.
So take, for example, let's say someone has been legally married for years and then separates from his wife and takes another wife, still under the same statute, but maybe in a different registry in another city. Yeah. He's gone. Does that, how do you explain that?
Can you ask me again?
I'm married to Kemi.
Yes.
Been married for 10 years.
Yes.
We have kids. And then I'm separated from her. I have not legally dissolved the marriage. But then I meet someone
Under
else.
the statute of native law.
Under the statute. And then I go to another city, live with another woman,
Yes.
and marry under the statute again.
That's bigamy now. You've committed bigamy. Even if you...
It's a crime?
Of course, bigamy is a crime. And it's illegal. So, that marriage will be illegal. It's void for all intent and purposes. So even not even going to another state, if you like, go to another country, go to another continent. So far you've not dissolved that marriage, it's still existing, and whatever marriage you contract again will be null and void for all intent and purposes.
Wow. All right.